Everybody, welcome. I'm Suzanne Gundersen from Screenwritenow. I help screenwriters and industry creatives to naturally de-stress and get focused into their creative rhythm and flow, build tremendous confidence, and deepen their emotional worldview into wisdom and truth. That way they can hook every audience. So today's video is a part of my Industry Wisdom Bit series, where I'm bringing to you professionals in television and film to share with us one golden nugget or wisdom of advice that they've come to learn that can maybe help you too. So today we're joined by Gripp. So Gripp, thank you so much for being here today. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm a multimedia writer. I've written for the stage. I've written for the screen. I've written for all sorts of different stuff. I started writing when I was very, very young because I was like a weird, emotional little kid. And then as an adult, found the slam poetry community. And that's where I like picked up a lot of my writing technique. And in the last couple of years, I've been starting to venture into screenplays and other formats.
Wow. I mean, so you've been writing for a long time, writing since
Very
you're a
long
little
time.
kid. You have a lot of experience. That's amazing. And slam poetry, that sounds so cool.
Yeah, I think so.
Uh, so you must have all this experience, so and all the wisdom that you've gained along the way. But could you just whittle it down to just one gem or golden nugget that you could share with our audience today?
Sure. Yeah. A big central thing to my writing process is trying to figure out what is being said before I start trying to say it. I think that particularly in a world where writing is heavily commodified and there's like demand for the product of the writing process, it's very easy to skip past that first part and start writing pages of your screenplay. But my advice is always to take a step back, think about what your perspective is, think about what your goals are with your piece of writing, and then try to form that into the piece that you want. I talk about it as the difference between form and content. I think that a lot of people start by considering the form that they want to do. I want to write a novel, or I want to write a film, or I want to write a play, or I want to write an experimental jazz opera. And those things are cool, but they're also like don't tell you anything about what the content is of the piece. So it's always really important to me to take a step back and ask myself what my perspective are, what I'm trying to impart to the audience before I start trying to impart it. A lot of stuff that I edit feels undirected in that way because the writer was in such a rush to get something on the page and show off that they could write and that they were being a good writer that they didn't stop and think about what exactly it was they were trying to impart. And I think it's
I
very hard
love
to
that. It's
connect
like
with an
know
audience.
your message, know your point of
Yeah,
view.
yeah, and
Know what know what you're trying to say. I love
yeah,
that.
and that's really really hard for
Mm,
a new writer, I think, because it's scary to imagine that you have something worth saying, you know. And I think that it's very easy to get caught up in a fantasy that the writing process is automatic and that if you just follow these steps you will come out with the product at the end of it, and that's true, but only if one of those steps is introspection and looking at yourself and trying to figure out what
mm.
your perspective on the world is, what makes your viewpoint unique, and how you can then share it with other people. And not to put too
I'm
fine a
sure that
point
there
on
are
it.
those days where everyone you just kind of sit down and just have to write, but then really great advice to kind of take a step back and say, what am I, what's my point of view here? What's really my perspective?
Yeah,
What's my
yeah.
message? What am I trying to convey? That way it's not just a sloppy mess of, pages and pages that people get drowned in
Yeah,
going,
and
what
I
was
think
going on
it's a
here?
balance between those two. You know, uh, there are writers around me with both philosophies that you know, writing is ephemeral and it will come to you when it comes to you, and accept it when it comes, and it's a gift. And then there are other people who are really habitual and who say, no, you need to be doing that, like, you know, automatic, get everything out of your system writing every day, and eventually that process will produce a work. And I think it's a balance between those two. But what's important to me is that that part precedes the production. That part precedes trying to create something for an audience. Communication to me is about communicating. It's about saying something, having an idea or a thought or an emotion, and connecting it to an audience and giving it to someone else. And that's really hard to do if you don't even know what it is. If you can't articulate it for yourself, it's going to be very hard to articulate for anyone else.
I love that. I think that's gonna be so helpful for people watching. Thank you so much for
Yeah, no
sharing
problem.
that. I've never heard that before, just kind of having the blend between both sides, but really making sure you stick to your message, whatever that is, no matter if you could just start writing one day or you make it a habit to write every day.
Definitely.
So great. Tell us a little bit more about where we can find out what's going on with you today.
Sure. Well, the headline is zine.glasseyeballs.com, zeen.glasseyeballs.com. That's my blog. It's free signups. That's my mailing list. So if you're looking to keep on top of what I'm doing, that's where you should go. Um, Today, this year, things that I'm working on, I've got a book releasing on Game Over Books. Will be out on April 20th. It's called The Fainting Game and Other Stories. It's a short uh, collection of screenplays, it's a collection of short screenplays. So
Nice.
some of the scripts I've been working on the last couple of years. And then also I'm on some social media. So follow me on Twitter at Glass Eyeballs and follow me on Instagram at auto.antonym.
Awesome. Well, all those links are going to be in the description box of the video. Thank you so much, Grip, for sharing all that today. And thanks
Yeah, thank you
everybody
for
for
having me.
watching. And everyone watching, feel free to pop on over to my website, Screen Right Now, and download your free e-copy of 3 steps to get pitch ready. That way you can get into alignment with you and your script and hook your audience. Thanks everybody for watching again, and we will see you on the next Industry Wisdom Bits video. Thanks again, Grip.